Hey YouTube, my name is Nick, and in today's video, I want to talk about my Japanese copy of Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland and why I would recommend buying a Japanese copy over a North American copy. Now, to be clear, I don't want to say that Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland isn't a good game. It very much is a good game. It's just money-wise, like your value for money, compared to buying a North American copy, the Japanese copy is significantly cheaper, and you get about well, you get the same game, essentially, just all written in Japanese, and you don't really need Japanese to understand what's happening, similar to WarioWare Twisted, except for maybe in, like, the final cutscene after you beat the game, it'll be all in Japanese and you won't be able to read it. But for that, I kind of just watched the ending on YouTube in English, and that basically explained what was going on at the end, and it clarified what was happening. But anyways, so not only is it cheaper to play the Japanese copy of the game, but also the other issue with Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland is that it's relatively short, lengthwise speaking. Like, you can beat the game pretty quickly. And let's not forget that it is a remaster of an NES game. Kirby's Adventure, I think, is what it's called on the NES. I'll show it up on the screen. But that's why it's a relatively short game, because obviously they had to deal with the limitations of the NES game itself and the length of it because of how much could be stored on an NES cart at the time. But I gotta say, though, that it is still very much a very fun Kirby game. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the lid on my Spice Orange GameCube that has Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell in it. And I will show that happening right now. And I'm going to launch the Game Boy interface using a save game exploit method. And so you can see right here, I got my Orange Spice GameCube. The cartridge is right there. And, oh, the eject button was stuck, the open lid button was stuck, but now the disc will load up. And we should see it come up on the screen here. Yep, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. So I'm going to launch the Game Boy interface through the save game memory exploit in this game. And then I'll be able to show you Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. And I can get my point across on what I mean by the levels are pretty short. Like, North American copies right now on the market go for about $40-ish, whereas I paid $7 for my copy of this game in Japanese. I technically paid $14, but again, like, it came with two games. It came with Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland and Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which I showed off in one or two videos ago when I tried to link a Japanese copy to a North American one. But these two games were bundled together, so it's like I paid $7, but it was really 14, so it was like 7 per game if you break it up. But still, it's like a fourth of the price of that, and shipping it is pretty cheap because it's a very small cartridge after all. But only reason why shipping costed more for me was because I bought so much stuff at once. But I did look at when I was shipping stuff out, like how much it would cost to send me a GBA game, like just one from Japan, and it'd be like $5 to ship it internationally from where I am anyway. So it's not like it would have costed a whole lot more. But anyway, without further ado, I'll just show you Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. I also had some issues getting the recording setup going for this so I can showcase this game because I had the capture card settings, like the frames per second was at 60, and so I had to manually adjust it to 24 so that it wouldn't glitch out every few minutes. I was having a strange kind of issue with that, so I got that resolved. And so now I'm going to show you what I mean by the levels are pretty short. So I'll just play this level just to get started. And also I apologize if my gameplay will be kind of poor because I have like a 1-second delay from the video being recorded and what's happening on screen. So that's why it might look like I'm bad at the game, but it's just there's some latency in the recording versus what I'm seeing. Oh! I messed up. So yeah, this game is also not that difficult, but it's a good game to play like at night before you go to bed, whatever. It's non-stressful, pretty simple. And I mean, that's typically how Kirby games are like. They're not usually that challenging, but I did it again. Okay. Well, anyway, they're not usually that challenging, but again, it doesn't make the game bad because it's not hard. It's just like if you're expecting like some Dark Souls kind of difficulty playing this, no, it's not that hard. It's pretty simple, but a lot of fun. It's definitely worth trying out for sure. And I lost the laser. But I did get it back. And there you go. That's the end of the level. I finished this game in about like a weekend or two. It's pretty short. But again, it's nothing to scoff at. It's still a very fun game. It's definitely worth playing at least once. So again, even though like you can't read what the sign says here, like when you go through it, you realize, okay, it takes you to the next level. Like, it's pretty straightforward how this game was designed. Like, you don't need to be able to read Japanese to know what's happening. Again, I have some latency, so that's why I have some issues. Like, getting through this door might be a problem. There we go. I had to spam the up button on that. Oh, that sword is actually stopping my laser beams. Oh, I almost got hit by the spiky enemy. Through the door! Oh, that was close. And there you go, that's another level completed. Like I said, pretty short game. There's also sub-games too. Like this one, for instance. Well, I don't know if I want to do this one, because this one's like, it's like a race. And I believe there weren't these sub-games in the original game, according to various wikis and stuff. But this sub-game is kind of like, you're put on a star and basically you go across the line. You have to hold A, but then let go when there's like these spiky lines. I'm probably gonna butcher this if I try, but because again, there's some latency, so I have to like get the hang of like letting go a little bit early. See those gray marks on the line? You have to let go before that, so you don't hit it. And you're supposed to get a boost if you press A at the right time to go back, but again, I'm delayed a bit, so that's why it's kind of hard. Yeah, see there? I nailed those. And I came in third, actually. Which is not great out of 4, but it doesn't consider it a total loss, at least. Gave me a life for it, too. Yeah, the sub-games help with giving extra lives, especially if you're running low while playing the game. I'll play one more level, just to fully get the point across that, yeah, these levels in this game are pretty short. And that's why it's not really worth paying 40 bucks for a North American copy. Because, again, you can experience the exact same thing for less. And of course, you could say that about anything, but I mean, like, with a physical cartridge anyway, because obviously you can emulate for free, but I'm talking about real hardware. Oh yeah, he's not gonna let me pass. You know what I could do? I could do this. If I could hit him. There we go. Wow. That enemy sent that fireball flying. Oh, facing the wrong way. Oh, and another thing is you can see that the bosses are also a little bit repetitive. But obviously that's a different issue entirely. I keep doing that, but that's not gonna work. I almost fell off the map there, and I would have died. Oh, and this power-up is cool. It, like, lights up the whole map. Because it was a dark area. I'm about to die. I gotta move! I almost died again. Okay, get over here. Also, this is the Cabbage Caverns theme in Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Which, by the way, that game is definitely significantly longer than this one, because that one's more like a Metroidvania game. So you can actually beat that game in multiple ways, because it depends on what paths you take to find the crystal mirror shards. And there you go, just like that, I made it to the end of the level with just one little bit of health left. But either way, you get the gist of it. So, to recap in short, basically, the only real reasons why I wouldn't recommend buying a North American copy over a Japanese is because, one, it's cheaper, similar to WarioWare Twisted. You don't need to be able to read Japanese to know what's happening. It's pretty easy, and you can blast through the game within like a weekend or two. Like, it's a very short game, and again, that's because it has to do with the limitations of the NES hardware and such. And so, despite all those things, though, it's still a great and fun game, especially to play like at night before you go to bed. And so that's why I would just recommend getting a Japanese copy of this game for significantly cheaper. Again, not a bad game at all. I'm not saying I don't like it. I do very much like this game, and I enjoyed it. And that basically wraps up this video. So thank you very much for watching. Until next time.